Everybody, happy Monday. It's October 2nd. You're here with Johnny Gunn's Investigation, along with True Crime Lounge with Becky. And we're here today to show you guys some fabulous audio and video that we have investigated to find and we promised you guys. And when you watch and hear this video and the audio, it's going to amaze you on this actual footage. And just to go back, what we're covering here is the Brian Kohlberg case of the 4 college students that were murdered, Kaylee, Madison, Xenia, and Ethan. And this goes back to show you some of the footage of what a witness has stated they saw next door, and some also the ring footage that we promised you guys.
The ring audio.
I'm sorry, the audio. And then what we can also do is we're going to give you our opinion on everything that's going on with this case, because it's like a roller coaster, up and down. We don't know which way to go. So we want you guys to let us know what your opinions are, the same way we're giving you our opinion. Because, allegedly we give you the information, what we hear, and we're not cops or nothing. We just want to give you all the statements of news that we can give you, and then follow this all the way to the end to have closure, not only for the 4 kids who were murdered, but for their family members. And then Becky, we're going to go ahead and start these videos.
Right. So we're going to get started with a graphic designer did like a reenactment, a 3D reenactment. So this is her view of what has transpired because of the timeline. So we're just going to go ahead and get started with that.
You guys are going to like this.
Brian Kohlberger, the suspect, is believed to have entered the neighborhood at 3:29 a.m. Approaching the house, he noticed the lights are on. This hinders his plan, and he now has to rethink things. He continues on to the back where he sees even more lights on. From the affidavit, we know he drove by the house 3 times in less than 5 minutes, probably trying to figure out what to do next. He finally decides to leave the area for a little while and observes the lights are on one last time in front as he drives off. Cameras show him leaving the neighborhood and exiting on Walenta Drive in this direction. It's uncertain which way he went from this point here, but we know that he is seen here at this location at 3:45 a.m., caught on a gas station security camera. Wondering if this could truly be a 2015 Elantra, I downloaded a known image of one with a similar angle of view. I then entered that into a 3D modeling software and added some lighting, and then tilted the camera to get a similar angle. I then animated the image to be traveling at 40 miles per hour, giving motion blur, which ended with this result. Though not scientific, we can see very close similarities that this is a 2015 Elantra. Back to the map. We see the suspect re-enters the neighborhood at 4:04 a.m. He drives up to the house and slows down. Looking at the windows, he sees the lights are now off. Continuing to the back, he checks to see if those lights are off. They are. He's excited. He knows everyone is finally in bed, but he wants to check the front one last time. As he drives down, he's filled with adrenaline, seeing the lights are all off. His brain short circuits for a second as he clumsily tries to turn around in front of the house. It fails, but he regains composure and drives on. He's caught on camera making a 3-point turn at the end of the street to return back to the residence. He does his final drive to the back of the house. In the beginning, most of us believed the 2 surviving roommates, Bethany and Dylan, were sleeping on the first floor. Since then, we've learned Dylan was sleeping here on the 2nd floor, along with Xana and Ethan located here. Kaylee and Madison were located here on the 3rd floor. The dog was located on the 3rd floor and the room by itself. Let's move around and see through the walls into the kitchen, to the back slider, and take a look at the time frames. At 4:04 a.m., the suspect can be seen trying to park his car. At 4:09, approximately 5 minutes later, He enters the house through the back slider. At 4:18, he leaves the house after committing the crimes. At 4:20, he's caught on camera driving away at a high rate of speed. All of this only took 9 minutes.
Now, come on.
Let's watch what that looks like.
9 minutes.
The suspect enters through the back sliding door. He pauses at the stairs to look around to make sure no one's up. He then turns and goes upstairs. The first bedroom he stops at and opens the door, he sees no one there. He continues to the next bedroom. Here we know what happens.
Looking for Zinnia.
Downstairs, Dylan is sleeping. The noise from upstairs wakes her up. She thinks it's Kaylee playing with her dog. She gets up and goes to the door and looks out. She sees nothing there. The suspect then continues down the stairs about 3 minutes later. He then heads to Xana's room. Outside, there's a security camera picking up some whimpering, cries, and a thud at 4:17.
And you will hear that.
We've learned that Xana was found on the floor, which might explain the thud. Dylan again hears something and looks outside her door. She sees the suspect. He walks right past her and leaves.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so that was that clip.
That just, so he must have went and took some special forces training to go ahead and be trained like a Navy SEAL to go ahead and complete this in 9 minutes with no mistakes. Just as you saw that 3D footage. I don't understand how that happened, but we're going to leave this to what our opinion is and your opinion to help solve what we think and what you all think. And let's put this together because this is just a crazy deal. If he's able to go in there and do this in 9 minutes,
According to the timeline.
According to the timeline and the audio and the video and what we have coming up for you guys is amazing on the audio, and with the witness. But how can he do that in 9 minutes? And then you got to remember, hustling around, killing people.
Well, yeah, and that's the whole point. I mean, he was there on a mission.
Viciously unbelievable.
If this was him. So
if it was him, and that's the question now, because for weeks we've been saying it's him. This might go another
the police
way.
have pointed to him, and the police are doing their investigation,
Right.
but it's very close to the vest. So
and the pings and him being out there, and what's he doing out so late? Oh God, nothing happens good after 2.
That was a part of his alibi that he likes to drive around at night. I mean,
yeah, he could just be a nut job.
That's predatory.
Right.
You're driving around at night.
Yeah, okay. So he's looking for something. But let's see. Let's see what you guys think. And here comes another one. Now focus in on this
audio.
One. Listen to the audio. Turn it up, guys. Listen close. You're going to hear the allegedly.
Okay, listen.
Now we're right. Now we're right.
Unbelievable.
So that's pretty intense.
That's intense. And this is coming from the ring camera right across the street, like catty corner from the actual house where the college students lived. So that's intense. I mean, because you can hear the whimpering, the screaming,
There's
just
a lot of
intense.
commotion going on there.
A lot of commotion. So allegedly, that is the sounds of the night and the time that's matching up exactly to when the murders took place in that house that night, with Kaylee, Madison, Xenia, and Ethan, and Dylan coming out there and witnessing again the murderer go right by her. It's unbelievable. It's just heartwarming. So we also have the clipping of the witness, correct?
Yeah, it's a witness account of there was another student that was in the house like next door. They were partying, and it's his or her account. I don't know if they dubbed the voice to make it so it was unrecognizable.
Yeah,
But
for sure. Because that student is
there was
very
a
scared.
student that witnessed the morning when they were all out. Now, if you saw on the audio where it said "Shut the F up, Emma,"
Emma.
just remember that name, Emma, when we
Emma.
go to this witness account. So I'm
Exactly.
gonna go ahead and start that.
Okay. You guys listen to this.
I don't know if people are aware of the fact that there were at least 2 of the people. They were mutilated. I don't know what I could say. I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but I can say that they were. It was not like somebody had a butcher knife or anything like that. Like the wounds were equivalent to something that was much like huge gaping wounds. Not like
maybe like a machete.
Like I'm talking like if you think about being a hunter and if you think about a deer and all that, if you can go through that process in your head, like it was to that equivalent, if not worse, like gaze wounds. So it was not just like a stabbing situation. It was really like something very sinister.
How do you know that? How do you know that? If
Well, I know from Dylan.
So
He told me from what Hunter knew.
Can you pause that for a second?
Sure. Give me a second to pause.
Is it paused? So on this video, y'all have, it's not paused.
Nope, I gotta pause it. There.
Okay. So this witness, it's unbelievable because they're right next door partying all night long, just like the house the murders took place in, and they have a house full of people. So you got to realize they're going in and out and know the people at that house. They all know each other. It's amazing what this witness is telling us.
Right. So I'm going to go ahead and get back to the witness, and then
Okay.
we can hear the witness's account of what transpired that day. So let me go.
Got it.
I don't know if people are
Yeah, let me try to
aware
see if I
of
can
the
get back
fact
to that
that
spot.
there were at least two of the people. They were mutilated. I don't know what I could say. I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but I can say that they were. It was not like somebody had a butcher knife or anything like that. Like the wounds were equivalent to something that was much like huge gaping wounds. Not like
maybe like a machete.
Like I'm talking like if you think about being a hunter and if you think about a deer and all that, if you can go through that process in your head, like it was to that equivalent, if not worse, like
Right there.
huge wounds. So it was not just like a stabbing situation. It was really like something very sinister.
How do you know that? How do you know that? If I
Well, I know from Dylan. I know from Dylan.
So
He told me from what Hunter knew. From what Hunter knew.
Unreal. Me too, for sure. She's in fear of her safety.
Yeah. So there is more to
Yeah.
her account
Mhm.
coming.
What really triggered me to want to reach out is that there's all this stuff that was coming up about the Linda Lane footage and if it was real or not real, and I know I know from what I've seen personally that it is real, and there's so much misinformation, and it's scary. It's really scary because
that is scary.
it is very scary because what I seen.
Scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I've seen, that footage is real. The audio, I can't say everything, because I don't know everything. But I can say from what I've seen, the footage is real, and it's getting to a point where people are lying back and forth. And I thought maybe that I could, by speaking, that I maybe could give some validity to something. And I guess I didn't think that people maybe not believe me, or I got there before 10 o'clock, and I hung out there. We were playing beer pong, we were playing games. We left at like a little after 1:30 to go get more alcohol. And then we came back, and then I was there. I fell asleep maybe around 3:30. I woke up in the morning. I woke up around maybe about 8:15. The latest maybe 8:30. And I smoke cigarettes, so I went outside to the balcony to smoke a cigarette because we don't smoke in the apartment. And I seen 5 people outside in the backyard area of the house. There was 3 males and 2 females. One of the males was like very pale and had light colored hair. There was a black male. There was another guy that I had never really even seen before, that was kind of just like had his hoodie up. I believe I seen Dylan out there. The apartments that I was at, there was a balcony, and if you go to the right of the balcony, the house is literally like next to my shoulder on the right hand side. So it's like
Oh, that house. Straight
It's
back.
literally there, and we had a lot of people
Oh, I got
there.
you. Okay.
Yeah, we were partying just like an average night. We had a lot of people in the apartment. We partied all the time. There was always ruckus that was going on through the neighborhood. You know, for the most part, I never really seen or heard anything that was really strange up until like about 3 a.m. But in the morning, I remember seeing Dylan because I know Dylan. She's taller, so I can kind of pick her out. And I know Emma was there, and Emma's friend. And there was a guy that was also like I said, really pale. I wasn't sure who he was with light colored hair. And there was another guy that had a hoodie on that I couldn't identify. But they were all just literally passing a joint around because they would wake up and smoke, and they were just all smoking. Like, I would have never guessed anything happened at that house when I woke up that morning until I found out later. I didn't leave until like 1:30, but I would have never guessed that anything happened because they were just out smoking like normal, like nothing had happened. Well, at like
Strange.
a little bit after 3 a.m. This was before I went to bed. We were supposed to, in the apartment that I was at the party, we were supposed to go on the balcony to smoke. We were not supposed to like smoke weed or even cigarettes inside. But some people didn't listen to the people that resided at the apartment, so they would smoke inside anyway. So they would crack like two of the windows, like on the right hand side of the apartment, and when they did crack the windows to get the breeze and to get the smoke out, like there was a lot of stuff that went on it. Like around a little bit after 3, there were a couple of things that I heard that were really disturbing, but I was drunk and I just said, like, in my head I was like, you know what? It's probably something really stupid and I'm just overanalyzing it, you know, like in my head I didn't think like, oh, there is something of emergency. When I look back at it now, like it literally tears me up inside because I'm like, could I have done more? Could I have like, did I just bypass something, you know? But it was like scream. It was a scream. There was one scream. It was it literally like it sounded like somebody was being mauled by a bear. Like it was like.
When you heard
When
that?
did you hear that? When did you hear that?
This was a little bit after 3 a.m. But you know, there's a lot of times that screams go on at parties, like
Jeez.
like really for weird reasons, you know. And so in my head, I wanted to just tell myself, okay, well, this is a little weird, but even if I thought it was, you know, something maybe to think about, I'm at a party with a bunch of people and we were smoking weed and we were drinking and there were people that were doing illegal drugs and you know what I mean? Like if I would have called the police, I would have
I
gotten
was scared.
already in trouble too. I had like so many things weighing in my head. Like if I had done that, and even if I did, I have to tell an officer like, "Hey, I'm drunk, but I heard this scream. Like, is he even gonna believe me?" Like I was really backed into a corner. So now that I think of it, like it bothers me because I remember that scream, and it was not a normal scream. It was a more.
Unbelievable.
We were playing a game called Two Truths and a Lie, and we were playing beer pong too as well. And I had a friend that went on Instagram Live. It was like 22 minutes. She was on, and like 18 of those minutes, we were in the apartment, just like our music was blaring, like all that stuff. There was maybe like about 2 minutes when we were outside and we were recording it, and you know, you can hear something. I don't know if it was something related. You can hear some stuff around 3 o'clock. We had heard they were trying to find Murphy. They were trying to find the dog. But I remember they were calling for the dog. I don't know if the dog was missing, but I remember there was like I don't know if it's Ethan, but somebody was whistling male was whistling for the dog. They were looking for the dog at like 3 in the morning.
Was that before or after you heard the scream that you said you
It
heard?
was before the screams.
Before. It would have to
Yeah.
be before.
Just whistling, but we knew Murphy because when I would party over there, sometimes Murphy would get out and, you know, and we kind of knew the dog just as like, you know, a neighbor dog. So when we would hear stuff like that, we just presumed that because nobody else really had a dog over there. I have been in contact with Nan Taylor, her team of people, and I gave her my friend gave her the Instagram, the 22 minutes of that night, and I've been in contact with her, and everything that I've expressed right now, I've expressed to Anne. We haven't really divulged on like getting deeper and deeper into it, but I've expressed these things to her, and she wants me to
But
she wants me to actually physically go there to where I was and to show where I was in that time frame and what angle of things that I've seen, and I've been terrified to do so because I'm worried that somebody's going to be filming and they're going to film me and see me. She said we could do it at really late at night.
Yeah, but you can.
There's so much more that I do know, you know, things that have gone on, but it's like telling my side. I get a couple of people that believe me, and there's a lot of people that don't. And I understand. I have reached out to the proper people.
How are they not taking you seriously?
So you said you have talked to the FBI too?
Unreal.
Do you want to stop it here and talk about it?
Yeah.
Everybody that I can talk to.
It's puzzling, you know, because this female that witnessed everything and they heard everything and they're partying all night. This is 3 o'clock in the morning. So they're partying all night long. So, you know, doing drugs, and they're all scared to call the authorities because they know that it might come down on them and they might not believe what's going on.
Right.
What puzzles me is the next morning, cops aren't called and they're all outside smoking cigarettes and joints, and there's dead people upstairs.
And on the main floor.
On the main floor.
So, like on that second floor where the witness said that he saw the 5 people standing in the backyard, that was the floor that Ethan and Anna,
right.
Yeah, their lives were ended there.
Right there. And I mean, they all the people that were outside had to have seen the bodies already. You think?
I don't know who saw what, but it's very suspicious that you would be at that location.
That's why everybody, you have Johnny Guns Investigation, True Crime Lounge with Becky. This is our opinion. We need your opinions. This is a very high profile case, but it's also a roller coaster ride. We don't know where it is. Who many things are happening.
The cops are keeping everything close to the vest. So we can only go off of what they have released and, you know, the timelines and everything and the witness accounts that we just listened to.
Right. And that's all we have. But what gets me is how did he do all this in 9 minutes from the timeline that was said? It's amazing. I mean, unless he's some kind of special trained person we don't know about, but I don't think so. But this footage is awesome. I mean, it's intense to hear, and it still goes on for a while because there's more to come here. More to come.
Yeah, there's a lot more that the witness talks about. The witness also brings up, and there's kind of another video too about the mother that was notified in the morning that happened. Well, she wanted to know how all of the other students knew so early in the morning about what happened, about what transpired, because there was actually a lot of gossip going on amongst the students early in the morning.
At the other university as well, right?
Yeah.
Washington
State University.
Washington State University, where actually Goldberger went. So all those kids already knew. Everybody's rushing over, and everybody knows that house. Okay, guys, and it's known to be
a party house,
drug house.
Also, a drug house is what they said.
You need drugs. These kids know to go to this house to get the drugs, and
it's a party drug house, right?
Drug house.
So what they were saying, it was like So that early morning, all of those theories were coming out like, "Oh, well, they were shot or something had
Yeah.
happened." And then they also said it turned quickly into like an OD
Oh,
situation
right. Everybody was
because it
thinking
wasn't too far-fetched from the already knowing that was the house to go get
drugs.
drugs.
Right. But unfortunately, it wasn't that. But those kids that were outside smoking, they definitely knew the bodies were in there and something did happen for sure.
Well, I can't say who knew what,
Well,
but
allegedly,
it's like,
allegedly,
you know,
allegedly.
speculating.
But you have blood dripping down the side of the house. You're
I
walking through
mean, I don't
everything.
know if anyone would noticed that, but that was crazy because there is blood actually dripping down the side of the house.
There is. I wanted you to pause that, but that's okay. We could show that another time. But that's true, real footage from the actual FBI footage too. I mean, that was from where
Well, that
Ethan.
those
That was
clips, that audio of the witness account, that was another YouTuber that was, Colin, that
Colin. Yeah, correct.
yeah, the witness.
Yeah,
But they said that they had got in contact with Ann Taylor, which is the defense
the
attorney,
defense attorney. Yeah,
right?
yeah. And they
And
got a
she
hold of
wanted
Van
to talk
Taylor.
to
And now this is another puzzling thing, everybody. This is what you have to go and put in your mind. Why is this witness so scared to go back to the scene to show?
because there's a lot of unknowns.
There's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of unknowns. Who else is involved in this? Who else?
Right, it's like once
I
we
have
start
my
to actually
theory.
go through the trial, but I mean, we're probably not gonna get because
No,
there's a gag order on everything.
there's a gag order. So, but the footage and the audio, what we're showing you now is what we saw before, when they were trying to pull everything out so you can't see it anymore.
Well,
So
it's still on
it's
YouTube.
still
We're
on if you
just
go on it. We're
sharing
just
that
pulling it
footage
now and
with you
showing you
guys.
guys because we knew we both knew we saw what we saw, but now let's just judge this together. Allegedly, all this is going on. Who's
What is your
involved?
theories?
My theory? My theory's all over the place. I mean,
Right, but I was talking to
Goldberger
the
is
audience,
there.
like, do
Oh,
you
you're
guys
talking to
have
the
a
audience, yeah.
theory on who did this? It's kinda like the game of Clue, you
It
know?
is.
It's
Let's play
like
Clue tonight,
who,
guys, and figure
when, and
this
where.
out. Because for the 100%, I would have said it was going to be Goldberger, but now with this footage and everything that we're hearing and seeing in the audio and some of the evidence that we know of, it looks like it could be other things. It could be twisting. It can be twisting, and it's all going back to the drugs. Okay, guys, it's going back to the drugs.
Well, that
So,
is one theory.
yeah,
So,
one
and that's
theory.
kind of,
My
the
theory.
prosecution, and maybe that's the reason why they're holding a lot of the cards close to their vest, is that they don't wanna release a lot of what they already know,
No, they don't want
because
to
it's
release it.
almost like they have the burden of actually, making sure beyond a reasonable doubt that he's the one that's guilty, and the defense
Exactly.
doesn't have to do that. The defense,
No,
all they have to do is just throw a little monkey wrench in there and say,
that's it.
like, and point to something else. And,
Well,
yeah, that's a possibility here.
Kohlberger's in jail, right? So this witness is scared to go to the property knowing the alleged murderer is in jail. What else does this witness know? Okay.
Well, they told us what they knew.
Yeah, I
They didn't
know.
know much more than, they was partying and drinking
A
up
lot of
next
drugs,
door.
okay? A lot of drugs, not just marijuana. I mean, that's legal everywhere now. We're talking some hardcore, I don't know what kind of drugs. We don't know. It's all alleged, but the kids like to do mollies uh, and cocaine and things like that. So if they're up all night long, they're not all smoking pot and falling asleep and eating.
No, it's a
They're
stimulant.
up all
It's
night
marijuana.
long, and this Kohlberg is up all night long. I don't know what he's looking for. He's on the
I
prowl.
know. He's
I
driving
mean,
around at night. That's his
they
alibi.
all are,
How
and we know
predatory.
that's happening. That's not a myth because he was pinged. He was caught on all
Yeah, the surveillance
the
camera.
surveillance, which is allegedly his car, and it looks like it's his car. So if
I
you
mean,
want to,
pretty close, right? That's not a
what
Mercedes. It's not a
definitely wasn't a
G-Wagon.
Mercedes.
Sure.
Nope. So you want to
Right.
go back to the witness?
So, yeah, that was what we had and
Yeah,
everything. So,
but and
that's
also
what
too
go ahead.
the what happened that morning is what I want to know. You know what I mean? What happened the morning that everybody came outside? What were they talking about? Why wouldn't somebody just run to the phone and call 911?
Well, remember when we were listening to the audio footage and they were kinda trying to clear it up and they put the little subtitles in there to let us
Mhm.
know what was being said, and it said, the Emma, it said, "Shut the F up, Emma."
Right.
And,
Exactly.
well, it's from the witness's account that was next door, they said they saw Emma outside that morning,
Right.
very early in the morning when they woke
Early in the
up.
morning.
So that means it seems like Emma was there, okay? Emma there was other people that were at that
Yeah,
location
she was definitely there because her name was screamed on the audio. We heard that
on
plain
the
as day.
audio,
We heard
right,
Emma,
allegedly.
allegedly Emma. And there's a lot of alleged things, but I want, the main thing right now is what's twisting the turns is the drugs. And if they're saying that they've been not only using the drugs there, and I hate to use this word because it seems so strong, but trafficking them through
Well, I
their,
don't know
you
because
know,
I think that allegation might be a little too strong since
it
we
is,
don't have
but it's
any.
alleged, and we're working on all this. But with the some of the things going on with the mom and everything, and then we'll
Well,
bring you
right,
that
because there
footage
was
as well.
both. Okay, so Xana's mom
Hmm.
and,
The
Maddie's
stepmom,
stepmom,
yep,
okay, both of them, okay, had court dates, and they were being sentenced that same week that their children had got their life taken from them.
yeah.
They were being sentenced on drug charges.
Zinnia's mother is Cara Cornaldo, which is the one that was being charged for the drug
Drug
possession, right, and
delivery.
traffic. What's that?
It was called drug delivery, one of the
Delivering. She was delivering drugs. Okay, so her mom is delivering drugs,
yeah, so that was what the charge was.
and that's the charge. And they're saying their court dates and their charges and everything. The stepmom and Zinnia's mom
She
were all
also had a charge of drug delivery, and that was she was being sentenced, like, a week prior, and Xenia's mom was, like, the week after, or it could have been, mixed. But anyway, we'll get the footage on that so that
mhm,
you guys can see when the
yeah, for
actual
sure.
dates were and everything. We'll bring that to you guys at, a different show, but we wanted to show you guys what we had tonight, and that was
For
the
sure,
audio
because I
and
have my
witness
opinion.
account and the 3D, rendering, which
Footage. That
was
was
an
great.
amazing job
That
for
was
the
great.
graphic designer.
That was awesome. And because my opinion on this with all the drugs is, with Zinnia's mom and being hardcore, being arrested for transporting drugs. Hopefully, she's not having the kids sell the drugs for her out of that
We
house.
don't know. We
We
don't
don't
know
know that.
any of
That's
that. We don't know
alleged.
any of that,
That
but,
is an alleged, but we don't know because that's
it could have
people.
been something completely different because, the
If you
witness
owe
was
drug
also
dealers money,
saying
things can happen. Things can happen.
right.
So, but we want you guys to put on and get the game out, Clue, because you guys got to play Clue on this. Help us out there. Let's figure this out together because it's all over the place.
Well, the
Let's
good thing
piece it.
is I do believe the police are, doing their job, hopefully, even though it's behind closed
Yeah,
doors,
of course they are.
we can't see it, but
It's a
I do
gag
believe
order. There's
that they
nothing we
want
can do.
justice as much as the rest of us.
Yeah, I
But,
think it's going to
it's
surprise us
almost like
all.
they're building a case, so maybe
Mhm.
they're not looking at every avenue.
Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of, some people's worries
Yeah.
about the direction.
Yeah. Well, the most important thing here, folks, is what we do is we want closure, not only on the case and to find out who did it for our own curiosities, okay, but we want closure for the four victims and all their families. Because when you never know, that bothers you for the rest of your life. We have to get down to the bottom of this and figure out what's going on. Becky and I are not giving up on this case until we have closure on it too. We're going to follow it all the way through and other things as well. But we hope you guys enjoy our show. We work very hard to bring you guys all the news we can at Johnny Guns Investigation and True Crime Lounge with Becky. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday evening because we are here in Florida. So
Alright, you
you
guys.
have a great night and be safe out there.
Thanks for joining, you guys. Talk to you next time.
Thanks, guys.